All that and more. Unpeeled starts right now.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Unpeeled. I'm Lillian Northrup.
And for the first time, I'm Drew Albaugh. Now for a recap of a historic Super Bowl. The 59th Super Bowl saw the Eagles swoop in and take the Lombardi Trophy with a fantastic win against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Birds end the game with an impressive 40-22 scoreline. Americans around the country celebrated their comeback after a heartbreaking loss in 2023.
Many fans took to the streets after the game to rejoice in the win. Highlights include 3 touchdowns from quarterback Jalen Hurts and cornerback Cooper DeJean's birthday interception off of Patrick Mahomes. The halftime show also brought out all the stars with Kendrick Lamar's electric performance featuring SZA and his Grammy-winning track, Not Like Us. Now, I have to admit, as a Bills fan, it felt a little good to finally see the Chiefs fall a little bit, but it was pretty surprising. I'm not going to lie. I mean, Travis Kelce talked after, like very, very short after his game. They played bad, and they haven't played bad in 3 years.
I mean, they're back-to-back champs for a reason, and they struggled. This was the largest score discrepancy in over 10 years in the Super Bowl. It's really surprising. But what wasn't surprising was the halftime show. Electric stuff from Kendrick Lamar, the most watched halftime show and the most watched Super Bowl ever. 129 million viewers.
We had so much going on during that halftime show. A lot of different storylines happening. We have Kendrick Lamar versus Drake, that whole situation.
Debacle, yes.
We have some political statements being made with Samuel Jackson being Uncle Sam. Serena Williams pops in there. There was a lot going on.
She was crip walking.
I know. And for a generation like ours who understands these things going on, it's enticing. But my question is, does it work for all generations we're trying to target?
Sure. I mean, if I told my grandparents what crip walking is, they might look at me like I'm speaking a different language. And to be honest, Kendrick Lamar might as well have been speaking a different language for my grandparents who I was sitting next to during the Super Bowl. And the most common question they were asking me is, who is that and what is he saying? So look, it was a great Super Bowl show, maybe for me, maybe for our generation, but for the older generation, I don't know if it struck the same chord.
201 days to the next NFL game, Drew. So we gotta hold out for just a couple 10 months now, but that's all right. After being delayed by the LA fires, the Critics' Choice Awards was held in Santa Monica Friday night. Hosted by Chelsea Handler and featuring many Hollywood stars, the event was a night to remember.
Some of the winners included Nora for Best Picture and John M. Chu for Best Director. These winners are a departure from what is expected to win at the Oscars, leaving suspense for the rest of award show season.
Now for something Rose lovers may not be too happy about, The Bachelorette will not have a season this year. ABC faced massive backlash after the cruel ending to Jen Tran's season last summer. The network has been accused of humiliating her during the season finales, with many fans vowing to boycott the series entirely.
While it hasn't been officially canceled, it is unlikely to air in 2025. The reason for the break is still unclear, but fans are connecting the break to Tran's controversial season ending. There are no plans as of right now to cancel the show entirely, and it is expected to return, and I would be really surprised if it didn't return at some point here in the near future.
Me too. I mean, we see The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. They're some of the most infamous romantic TV shows
they started
that we
all,
have. And The Bachelorette has not taken a season off other than the pandemic since 2007, 2008. So this is a pretty big deal, and it's a pretty big deal based off of just how one season ended last year. It really attests to how terrible that ending was.
Yeah, no, it was a really bad ending, but I have a feeling that ABC is going to kind of walk this back and making sure that everyone is settled down after last season, and then they're going to bring it back a couple of years in advance. Money talks, Lillian, and I have a feeling The Bachelorette is going to be coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And we'll see how The Bachelor season goes right now. It's on right now. Grant The Bachelor, it's getting a lot of hype.
Yeah.
And we'll see if that kind of smooths things over a little bit, like you were saying, and kind of creates a better way for The Bachelorette to come back in the future.
The Bachelorette may not be back, but the Backstreet Boys are. The boy band is set to become the first pop act with a Vegas residency at the Sphere. The boy band announced a July 2025 residency called Into the Millennium that will have 9 different performances.
The Sphere is known for its highly interactive elements and has already been the home for some star-studded performances like U2. Some pre-sales have already begun, but general tickets go on sale Friday, February 21st at noon. And well, Cupid must have struck his arrow because Love is Blind returns for another season on Valentine's Day. This will mark the 5-year anniversary of this franchise. It's taking place in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and will follow a new set of singles.
New episodes will be released weekly following the couple's journey to the altar. This season has the largest group of daters, ranging from 26 to 43-year-olds. Among them are nurses, travelers, cheerleaders, and many others, all looking for love. This season hopes to follow on the success of last season's DC-based love stories, which sees over half the couples still together. That seems like a not real stat. I mean, you wonder why The Bachelorette is falling off. Love is Blind might as well be the new Tinder.
I know. 11 of 13 of the couples that have gotten married on the show are still together. So that's a stat. Like, no, clearly something is working for this show.
Well, especially when you think that they don't even see the person they're going to be dating for the first 2 weeks of the show.
Dating. They're marrying these people.
I mean, the altar is right there.
It's ridiculous.
11 of 13. Crazy stuff.
We'll have to just see if love is truly blind in Minnesota.
Well, when we come back, we learn about a new fashion editor with America's Biggest Sport.
And we see how a reality show might have crossed some ethical boundaries. Don't go anywhere, Unpeelers. We'll be right back.
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now,
we've got something to say.
Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that,
Save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault. Then the funds.
learn how to save for your retirement.
Meet Norm. He lives with anxiety, but with the help of this latest innovation from Be Normal, he can be normal, just like everyone else. With the swipe of a finger, you can project happiness, confidence, machismo. Why settle for being real when you can be normal? The Normal Maker, new from Be Normal. This item doesn't really work because there's no such thing as normal. We're all different. What we like, how our brains work. In fact, 1 in 5 of us live with mental illness. Don't filter who you are. Start by talking to someone you trust. And remember, there is no normal.
Welcome back, Unpeelers. When we think of the NFL, images of grit, touchdowns, and roaring crowds come to mind. But now there's a new player changing the game off the field.
Our fashion correspondent, Cami Bremer, is here to share how one editor is bridging the gap between football and fashion. Cami.
Thank you. In October of 2024, the NFL made a historic move by appointing Kyle Smith as its first ever fashion editor. This decision marks a significant shift in how the league views style both on and off the field. Kyle's journey from a small-town designer to the NFL's fashion frontier is nothing short of inspiring. He's been tasked with infusing a sense of style into the league, ensuring that players' personalities shine through their wardrobe choices. Under his guidance, we've seen players arriving at games in designer suits, customized accessories, and even collaborating with renowned brands. This blending of sports and fashion has not only elevated the player's image, but also has attracted a new demographic to the NFL, including myself. One of the most notable moments under Kyle's tenure was Cincinnati's Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow and Minnesota's Viking wide receiver Justin Jefferson walking in Vogue Paris World. This event marked a significant crossover between the sports and high fashion, with both athletes donning designer ensembles and turning heads and making headlines. Fans have taken to social media to express their views. While many applaud the league's fashion-forward approach, others question if the focus on style distracts from the sport itself. One Twitter user noted, "Love seeing the players express themselves, but hope the game remains a priority." This move by the NFL could set a new precedent for other sports leagues. As athletes continue to embrace fashion, we may see similar roles embracing in the NBA, MLB, and beyond. The intersection of sports and style is becoming increasingly prominent, and Kyle Smith is at the forefront of this exciting evolution. Whether you're a die-hard football fan or a fashion enthusiast like myself, it's clear that the NFL's new style playbook is making waves. Back to you.
The ethics of reality television have been a source of contention since entertainment's integration into American culture nearly a century ago.
Our reality TV reporter, Elaine Yeager, is here to tell us how reality TV might have gone too far.
If you've been scrolling on social media within the past couple of days, you most likely have either seen or heard the phrase Montoya por favor. This viral phrase stems from the reality show La Isla de las Tentaciones, the Spanish counterpart to the American Temptation Island. First premiering in the U.S. on Fox in 2001, the original Temptation Island ran for a short 3 seasons before its cancellation and eventual 5-season revival by USA Network in 2015. The show's premise follows a group of couples seeking to test their relationships, in which the men and women are separated and sent to opposite villas and encouraged to cheat on their partners as they are tempted by young and attractive singles. This year's season of La Isla de las Tentaciones is gaining increased exposure due to the relationship between Jose Carlos Montoya and Anita Williams. In the viral clip, Montoya is called down to the beach by the show's host Sandra Barneda to witness in real time as Williams is unfaithful. He reacts in anguish, running the length of the beach in an attempt to intervene, provoking the phrase Montoya por favor or Montoya please. The virality of this mere 2-minute clip raises a plethora of questions concerning the ethics of today's reality television, as Formula One and NBA teams use the trending sound on TikTok, profiting off of Montoya's suffering. It is clear that producers have become overly reliant on the use of pain and trauma as a source of entertainment, with shows such as The Ultimatum, Married at First Sight, and Love is Blind placing contestants in positions that lack morality. Love is Blind, the Netflix original, is currently slammed with lawsuits and accusations of exploitation and mistreatment on set. Conversations concerning the consideration of the treatment of TV contestants has increasingly materialized. That's all from me. Back to you all.
I mean, we were hyping up Love is Blind, but yikes, that does seem a little dicey.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. Lane, when we come back, we learn about how the Syracuse kissing bench can cause love or eternal sadness. Be right back, Unpeelers.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just like that, Valentine's Day is somehow right around the corner. In honor of this annual day of love, our Syracuse events reporter Sydney Chan is reporting live in the snow, I might add, from one of the most iconic campus myths. Sydney.
Thanks, Lillian. Located between the Hall of Languages and the Tall Humanities building, this bench was gifted to the university from the class of 1912 and was quickly known as the kissing bench. Legend says that if you and your significant other sit on this bench together, you'll eventually get married. But beware, if you sit on this bench alone, you could be cursed to flying solo forever. I had the chance to talk with Luke and Hannah Rafferty, who both graduated from Syracuse in 2016 and are celebrating their 9th Valentine's Day together. They both decided to come to Syracuse, obviously, and they got married in 2018. They got engaged in the summer of 2018 and got married less than a year later. But did they even believe in the legend of the kissing bench? Take a look.
I was a tour guide. And so we would obviously mention the kissing bench on all of our tours. So I always heard about it, but I don't know that I necessarily felt like it was a requirement to make our love last. And if we're being honest, we didn't actually go to the kissing bench until engagement photos. That was the first time we kissed on the kissing bench. So maybe that's the good luck charm.
I think I was trying to play it safe because I don't know, Hannah's pretty awesome and I didn't want to mess anything up. So I was figured like once we were engaged was a good time to sit on a kissing bench and kiss. But before that, I didn't want to risk anything.
Well, you heard it here first. The Raffertys just recently welcomed their first human child, Oliver, all while parenting their beloved dog, Waverly. Yes, after the Avenue. But what about you? Do you believe in the legend of the bench? Well, either way, maybe play it safe and rest your legs on any other bench on Syracuse University's campus. Happy early Valentine's Day. I'm Sydney Chan, your Syracuse events reporter. Drew, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, well, Sydney, maybe you should stay safe and get back inside because it looks cold out there. But no one is involved in the next story will find themselves on the kissing bench. Our film reporter, Rob Gabrick, is here to tell us all about the canceled Looney Tunes movie and why its star's blood is still boiling. Rob, what is with this movie? What's the backstory? What do we need to know?
So, the original film, the idea for a film, came from a 1990 satirical New Yorker essay which described Wile E. Coyote on trial and had him up against the ropes, basically. So 28 years later, the film was announced and it was planned to have John Cena as Acme's defense attorney and Will Forte as Coyote's defense attorney. Now, obviously, we see that this didn't end up happening, but in 2023, the summer, which is when this film was slated to be released, Warner Brothers decided to push off the release for Barbie, so Barbie could dominate the summer. Now, obviously, can't knock them for how it ended up turning out, but the conversation around the film was a lot of not quite yet, till they yanked it entirely.
Sure, one of my favorite, dynamic duos. You see the guy kind of running off the cliff and that's staying there. But why is it, what's the hype around this?
Yeah, well, the sad thing about it is it's not the first time Warner Brothers has done something like this. Okay. So Batgirl and Scooby-Doo Holiday Hunt were two films that were canceled, but what's special about Coyote versus Acme is the fact that it was completely finished. It was done, ready to be aired, could be aired yesterday in its final form. Now, it had bids, they had other bids to buy the film. Netflix, Paramount, and Amazon were all involved, and I think the bids got up to $75, $80 million, but Warner Brothers opted for a $30 million tax write-off instead. Now, these figures are interesting, so you look back, $75, $80 million bids, $70 million budget, you would have made money and people would have got to see the film. Safe to say it left a lot of people with bad taste in their mouths.
Yeah, money talks. It's interesting to see why they didn't do that. Is there anyone in particular, from the cast that's of note?
Yes, Will Forte, as you can see here, Coyote's defense, has been very vocal and has had plenty of choice words for Warner Brothers themselves. What he really wants fans to emphasize and for people to know is that it was a good film. He would have understood if it just got scrapped, but it was good, and he feels like it tested well. And he thinks it's a real shame, but one thing he wants to emphasize, he doesn't want people to forget what Warner Brothers did. He thinks it's outrageous, unfair, and completely egregious.
Well, thanks, Rob. When we come back, one of our favorite TV shows have been victorious with another reboot. You won't want to miss it.
she knows she is rocking through the night. In Syracuse, where the music never ends, I'm bringing you the sound, the glory, and the trance. From classic hits to the brand new sound, OT is the heartbeat of the underground. With every riff and every scream, we're turning your living room into a rocking dream. So watching OT and let the thunder roll, hard rocking rhythms that will shake your soul. On the stage to your screen, we bring the fire. OTN television takes you higher. Guitars are shredding, the crowd's going wild. Syracuse vibes with a rebellious style. Locals are legends, they all take a stand in the world of rock.
The Super Bowl happened this past Sunday, but people are still talking about some of the crazy commercials that aired. Our pop culture reporter Sigourney Bell is here to share how people are reacting. Now, there were Super Bowl commercials are some of the best conversations, but let's start by talking about what were some of the bad ones, bad reviews. Tell me about those.
Definitely. So the Super Bowl is facing some backlash, and not just because the Eagles won. Sorry, I gotta throw that in there.
Crazy. That's
but the biggest commercial that's getting the most heat definitely has to be the Hims and Hers commercial. Now, it starts off pretty good with the message how obesity is the #1 killer in America, and how America is a system that sets people up with really poor eating habits. But instead of promoting healthy weight loss or having a better diet, they're actually promoting their compound injectable drug, which people were feeling was a little bit sketchy and weird. And then after some further research, people found that this injectable drug is actually not FDA approved, which is very crazy. And people were feeling that it was very fat phobic as well. And then the next commercial that's having some pushback definitely has to be Poppy. Now, they were having some pretty good traction. They had a merch line in Target and everything, but then people found that they were sending a PR stunt to influencers. It was a vending machine full of their Poppy drink, and people were like, why would you send it to rich influencers when you could be sending it to loyal customers who have been drinking your drink for years? And instead of having a commercial that featured some more loyal customers, they had a commercial with more influencers. And so fans were just hating on them as well.
Gotcha. I did hear a lot about the Hims and Hers commercial.
Yes.
Very, very interesting there. And then not just so bad commercials, but what about real quick the weird ones, like the weird commercials? Were there any
Definitely.
changes?
So Coffee Mate Cold Foam had a very weird commercial where their tongue was having a dance party, and everyone was like, this is so weird, I don't like this. And then Kanye West also had a weird one, but I'm just gonna let you listen to that one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's hear it. I guess we're not gonna hear the commercial. Drew, why don't we send it out to Victoria?
Yeah, why not? Spin-offs and remakes of beloved childhood shows have been all the talk these days, from DuckTales to the Brady Kids, and now Victorious. Our TV reporter Victoria Daly is here with all your spin-off updates and more.
Spin-offs can be TV shows, movies, and books derived from an already existing work, but they focus on more details and different aspects from the original work. A spin-off could be based on a side character, taking on a deeper dive into their specific storyline, but they usually take place within the same fictional storyline as the original show, in the same world as their favorite shows. Some common TV show spin-offs are the originals, a spin-off of The Vampire Diaries, The Legacies, a spin-off of the originals, The Brady Kids, a spin-off from The Brady Bunch, Legends of Tomorrow, a spin-off from DC shows like Arrow and The Flash, and then Sam and Cat, a spin-off from Nickelodeon's iCarly, as it focuses on Sam from iCarly, instead of main character Carly. But now, 12 years later, another Nickelodeon childhood show is getting a spin-off. Announced on February 6th, Nickelodeon sitcom Victorious has obtained a spin-off series. Trina Vega Victorious's main character, Tori Vegas' sister, will be the main character in this show as she is returning to Hollywood Arts, her former school, as the newest teacher. Daniela Monet, who played Trina in the original series, will return to play her once again. As far as we know, no other original co-stars are involved, but maybe there will be some special guest appearances. Monet will also be an executive producer on the show, and right now the spin-off is called Hollywood Arts, but since it's in its early stages, that could change. When more information comes out about the spin-off, I'll be sure to let you know as your TV reporter. That's all I have to share for now. Back to you.
Thanks, Victoria. When we come back, we share our love with the Unpeeled fans and crew. Stay tuned, Unpeelers.
Si un día fueras a tu escondite secreto y en lugar de lo que buscabas encuentras esto, ¿qué harías? Antes de que las drogas te afecten a ti y a tu familia, debes saber que cuentas con la ayuda necesaria. Tú puedes dejarlas. Si tú o un ser querido están luchando contra el uso indebido de drogas, llama al 1-800-662-4357 para información confidencial y gratuita o remisión a tratamiento. Visita samsa.gov/conoce los riesgos.
A diferencia de otros problemas de salud, las enfermedades mentales no siempre son visibles.
Tercera línea, por favor.
D-E-P-R-E-S-I-O-N. Las enfermedades mentales no se miden sobre una báscula.
¿Bipolar?
Identificar una enfermedad mental no es algo que debe intentar por su cuenta.
Ansiedad. Me lo imaginaba.
Las enfermedades mentales requieren diagnóstico y tratamiento profesionales, y entre más rápido busque tratamiento, mejor.
Mira, 6,000 pasos y trastorno de estrés postraumático.
Si usted o un ser querido tienen un problema de salud mental, no lo trate por su cuenta. Para información confidencial y gratuita y remisión a tratamiento las 24 horas, llame al 1-800-662-4357. Infórmese en samsa.gov/ayuda.
Well, as many of you probably know, Valentine's Day is Friday, and here at Unpeeled, we love, and I'm sure feeling the love here during my first show as host. From Valentine's Day parties in elementary school to celebrating with significant others, Valentine's Day is a way to appreciate those who you love.
Valentine's Day always brings people together, whether you love it or hate it. You can feel it in the air. And we thought, what better way to get back to the people that we love than writing Valentine's here live on air? So we're going to give that a whirl.
Why not?
Which one? What does yours say? I have the hot dog. You're the best. Here it is. Hot dog. You're the best.
Yeah, I mean, I got that one too. And when I think of hot dogs, I think of my brother.
Okay,
my
nice.
brother Miles. So this is the first one. Miles, your birthday is actually on Valentine's Day. So it's a happy birthday and a little love from your older bro Drew. So happy Valentine's Day.
I love that. I'm going to do my first Valentine to my mom. Because
Classic.
she deserves my Valentines, that makes sense. So happy Valentine's Day, Mom. I love you. Thanks for all that you do.
But we're not the only two people, giving some love. So
No.
we want to invite everyone else here
Our
at the
reporters.
Unpeeled crew.
To my mom.
Come
Let
on
me see
in.
what else I should write. I
We
love
got some
you.
fun dip. So that's fun.
So in elementary school,
Hot
I personally definitely
Take-
brought
Thank you.
the fun dip to the school. That was like my favorite thing to do.
That's a
Fair
good
enough. There's a
You know how
pen.
people had brought like the candies and stuff? Here we go.
You're the cat's meow. I know this is going to.
Yeah.
Who's it going to, Rob?
This is going to our executive producer, Ben Dietrich.
Yes.
For being the cat's meow.
Wow.
Do we have another?
Hugs for you.
I got
This
that
one's
one.
cute.
Hedgehogs
That one's
for
adorable.
Tammy, who are you giving it to?
I'm gonna give it to all my family back at home.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice. Very good. What do you got?
I've got Bella Boo in audio.
Oh.
This one's for her.
Can't run the show without it. Can't run the show without audio.
My host from last semester was Alexa, so I should write one for Alexa.
No, it's fine.
too.
I mean, I can just leave if you want.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Do we have another
she's
EP
great.
that should get a
I
call?
know.
I don't
Should
think
write
so,
one for-
right? I don't think we have anyone. I think
What
I
about
think I think Tegan. I think
Tegan.
you're
Tegan.
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 Sure.
Tegan.
You're the cat's meow.
I don't want to write.
You're
What do
the
you guys have
funnest
over
dick,
there?
I'm telling you.
Mine to Danielle, our
Nice.
head writer.
Nice.
I'll write mine to Tegan.
Yeah.
There you
go. So much
Guys,
love
what would you
going
say is
on.
the best fun
We should
dip
also
flavor?
write one to all our loved
Sure.
ones that are
I agree.
abroad right now. But
Yes.
unfortunately, that is all the time that we have with you tonight.
Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on our socials at CitrusTVE on X and at Unpeeled_Syracuse on Instagram. I'm Drew Albaugh.
And I'm Lillian Northrup. Have a lovely night, Syracuse.